Namaskaram. We are starting the storytelling from the epic Mahabharata, which is one of the most famous of all Indian epics. Normally, people start by telling how is it that the Mahabharata is so famous. Its volume, the intensity of the main theme, the story, the sub-stories, and there are so many things which are great about Mahabharata. We will go into that as we progress, because otherwise we will not make head in the main story. So, let us start with the story, and first the story in brief. This is about two families, the Kauravas and the Pandavas. These two names will be coming again and again, so it is better that you commit it to memory. The Kauravas and the Pandavas. Kaurava means of the Kuru race, and Pandava means of the Pandu race. The two fathers, Dhritarashtra from the Kaurava dynasty and Pandu, actually from the same dynasty, but a cousin brother of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra and Pandu and their children we are talking about. They grew together in the same palace, but the Kauravas especially were very envious of the Pandavas. That's because the Kaurava king Dhritarashtra was born blind. We will go into that later on. And a blind king cannot rule the country. So Pandu got the kingdom. That made the Duryodhanas envious of the Pandavas. Of the Pandavas. It is the eldest of the Kauravas, Duryodhana. He is again a character who will appear throughout the story. Duryodhana was very envious, and he thought it is not because of his fault that his father was born blind, and his rightful kingdom was denied to him because he is the eldest son of the eldest king, eldest prince. And this envy turned into hostility. Right from childhood days, Duryodhana tried always to annihilate the Pandavas. Whenever there was opportunity, he used to put them down. Especially the second of the Pandavas, Bhima. He was very powerful in physical strength. Nobody could beat him. Duryodhana was especially envious of Bhima. Bhima was like an enemy to him. There was nothing to hide about his enmity to Bhima. He tried all means. He tried to poison Bhima. Bhima somehow survived that. There was one occasion when he, with the help of his father, with the indirect help from his father, he built a house of wax and sent the Pandavas there. Luckily, because of a tip from Vidura, who was brother to the two kings, Dhritarashtra and Pandu, because of a tip from him, the Pandavas escaped. And from then onwards, one by one, the Kauravas tried their best to cheat and destroy Pandavas. Luckily, they survived all that. This enmity resulted in a war, a great destructive war, which ended up in the annihilation of the entire Kaurava dynasty. The 5 Pandava brothers, they survived. This happened in spite of the Kauravas having very powerful warriors with them. Especially 5 or 6 of them had virtually no opponent to match. And on the Pandavas side, Arjuna was no doubt a hero. He was one of the best warriors, but he was no match when you take the great ones on the Kaurava side. And the Kaurava army was almost twice the size of that of Pandavas. But in spite of all these advantages, the Pandavas won. How? Because of the acumen of one person, one godlike character, Krishna. That's the Krishna's insight, foresight, and the reading of the characters from the opposite side. There are so very many factors which helped Krishna to guide the Pandavas to victory. That's the story in summary, the victory of the Pandavas over a much superior Kaurava army. The story unfolds very fast from the beginning. Almost by the time we reach 1/4, the war starts. And then another 1/4 of the whole story is war. And after the war, there is not much development, but still there are lots of advices by one from the Kaurava side to the surviving people. So anyway, throughout it is very interesting. In terms of volume, just to give an indication, the Mahabharata has got 125,000 verses, 4-line verses. There are short meters called Anushtup, which has got 8 characters in each of the 4 lines, 125,000 of them. There are 1 or 2 other. This Mahabharata is called an Itihasa. So only means it's a legend. There are 18 similar ones called Puranas. Puranas are more structured, and 18 of them which are called Mahapurana, great legends. And among them there is 1 or 2 which have about 100,000 verses, but they come nowhere near Mahabharata in terms of the intensity of the story and many similar factors. Anyway, Mahabharata is the one which is the most famous in India and abroad. The great poem called Bhagavad Gita, which I think somebody, one Western poet, converted into English. It's called the Celestial Poem, something like that. Arnold Darwin, someone like that. Anyway, so Bhagavad Gita is famous and it is part of Mahabharata. About 1/4 of Mahabharata is consisting of advices given by one of the Kaurava heroes, the grandfather of the two cousins, Kauravas and Pandavas, called Bhishma, he gave advices to the heir apparent Yudhishthira on how to rule a kingdom, how to live live a right living, what to do in terms of an emergency. So many, about 1/4 of the whole Mahabharata is Bhishma's advices to Yudhishthira. So that's in short what I want to say for a start. This is divided into 18 volumes, you can say, called Parva. 18 of them, which are the main Parvas. Within each Parva, the divisions are also called Parva, the sub-Parvas, we can say. And within the sub-Parvas, we have chapters. So that is, the chapters are 2-3 pages each. The main Parvas go, of course, into several hundred pages. So we will start, and normally people start, and I also did 5 or 6 times, with the birth of Vyasa. He is called Veda Vyasa. I will tell the reason later on. Who was the person who was present throughout the Bharata story, and he decided this is too important a story to miss, and he started writing it down. And that is how we got the story in writing. Not that Vyasa wrote them, he dictated it, someone else wrote. That's all what I have to say today, and we will continue with the birth of Vyasa from tomorrow onwards.